we on? I hope. Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and it is now Saturday morning here, and I am enjoying the morning, and I thought I'd like to stop by and say hello for anyone who might be interested. So, and let's see, just setting up here. Just give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, Matthew, hello. It's nice to see you. How are you doing? What's going on, my friend? So let's see. Oh, and Pedro is here. Skulder22 is here. Hello. Oh, Cartwheel Video. It's nice to see you. Yes, Michael. Michael's here. Hello. Great. Wow. Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining. Yes, Cartwheel Video says, uh, "Love you, Daisuke. Hope you're doing good. Happy Halloween." Yes, that's right. It is. 'Tis the season. So in Japan here, there is Halloween. You know, it's not a national holiday or anything of that sort, but it is Halloween is a thing. So so my kids are very excited for their school. They've just gotten their Halloween costume that they want to wear. There's going to be some opportunities for them to wear those costumes at school closer to the date of Halloween. I think, yeah, actually on Halloween Day, right? So and so it'll be so Halloween is a thing here. Although I think there we don't do trick, for example, Halloween trick or treating is, I would say, as not as prevalent as, or it's probably, yes, it's not prevalent at all, when especially when compared to, say, when I was living in the United States as a kid, for example. So yeah, yeah, I love Japan. I really love Japan with all my heart. Don't get me wrong, but every once in a while, I will long for. I'm a big fan of Tootsie Rolls. You know, there's the kind of the chocolate fudge candy known as Tootsie Rolls in the United States, I think. And one of my cherished memories is as a kid. I mean, I think they're still around, I think, but there's something magical about when I was a kid and living in the States at the time, dressed up for Halloween, going around trick or treating, and in my little bag or little plastic container, whatever it was at the time, where I'd hold my candy, you'd get Tootsie Rolls, and that would be like the happiest thing for me, is getting that candy for Halloween, but in particular, seeing that there were some Tootsie Rolls in there. So I love Tootsie Rolls very much. Uh, yeah, they don't have Tootsie Rolls here in Japan, so that I I miss Tootsie Rolls very much. But anyway, sorry about that. What was I saying? Yeah, so Halloween. So yes, thank you very much. Cartwheel Video. Halloween. Happy Halloween to you too. Are you watching any films during this Halloween season? You know, Halloween, of course, it brings about a lot of attention, say, towards horror genre, scary movies. But of course, Halloween doesn't always have to be about, say, scary movies or horror films. It could be about basically anything that you want to watch again during the season. So they could be of that. They could be of other genres. So of course, let me know what you and other people might be watching for Halloween. So thank you very much, Cartwheel Video. It's nice to see you. And let's see, Michael here, I said hello before. Let me say it again. Hello, Michael. It's nice to see you. And Matthew says you're contemplating getting an aquarium set up this weekend in your apartment. Ooh, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. The Shaw's Cartwheel Video, Pedro, you mentioned the Shaw Scope Arrow. So, oh yes, so this is my shelves, because it's this is the space is actually quite limited here in terms of where I could store things. So there's the Shaw Scope stuff. Actually, I could have put it up there. There's actually right above me. There is a place where I keep I don't have so many like these huge box sets, unfortunately. but I have there was that set that they released of uh, Evil Dead, without Army of Darkness. So it was like that huge red set, and you kind of open it up, and you can see ash, and it's just open. So it's right up there. So that I suppose I could have put the Shaw scope set up there, but it's a little bit smaller in dimensions. So it was a kind of perfect place to put it here. Also, the what else do I have here? There's the Kurosawa, Kira Kurosawa DVD set that was released from Criterion some time back, and then the Del Toro trilogy, and then the Wong Kar-wai set here, Gamera's here, which is the Arrow set, which is one of the best, one of my favorite box sets ever, I must say, and the like. So, and then there's the Criterion covers book. But yeah, this is the best way to store these things for me. So I wish I had better storage, but unfortunately the room, it's bigger than our older place, the place I was living before, but still it's still somewhat cramped. So, but I can't complain. I can't complain because right. It's about the film. So yes, the Shaw Scope Volume One. Indeed, yes. Last week I was I finally was able to, thanks thanks in large part, or in fact in 100% part, to the very kind donations of many people through PayPal and Super Chat and Super Thanks through YouTube. I was able at last to put in my pre-order for the Volume 2 set through the Arrow website directly. So I was quite happy about that. I think incidentally there is an Arrow, what is it, October Shocktober sale going on. So but if you're enjoying that, I hope everyone is enjoying that. So, I don't speak too much about Arrow here on this channel, but I don't have the biggest Arrow collection in the world, but believe me, if I had more money to spend, more consumable or consumption, money consumption, if I could spend more money, I would definitely get more Arrow titles, because I have a number of Arrow titles, but and everything that I've received from Arrow, I've been it's Arrow's at the top of their game, right? So you can't go wrong with Arrow. It's I don't want to get into I don't want to get into too much in terms of in terms of the various labels, I suppose, because I'm getting way in over my head, because I'm very limited in terms of what it is I'm able to access. But that being said, it's I am without a doubt a huge fan and admirer of Arrow, and I respect them wholeheartedly, and I wish them yeah, just keep on doing what they're doing, as they're doing a great job. So, and I love to, what I love, I love how I mean, one thing that I mean, I love Criterion, don't get me wrong, but there's just something about reversible sleeve art. And I know Arrow isn't the only one doing this, but there's just something really cool about reversible sleeve art. I always wondered if Criterion went that route of reversible sleeve art, what they could do. It could, right? The reversible sleeve art thing. If the idea of you have cover art on one side of the paper, which is inside the plastic of the case, and all one needs to do is very gently remove the paper, flip it over, and then reverse it and put it back, so you have an alternative covered art design. And so I think that would really that would solve a lot of the maybe some, not a lot, but some of the issues that might come up every now and again in terms of quote unquote controversial cover art and the like. And so or cover art that doesn't suit everyone's tastes. It means that more people can sort of pick and choose what kind of cover art they like, at least if it's a choice down to two. I always found that to be a very appealing factor when it came to physical media releases and say the consumer choice. So I always found that very appealing. Although, of course, at the same time, I can understand that it wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be possible like, for instance, I love how there are many editions of things too. Like you can get version, like for instance, the I think Arrow does a great job with I mentioned before the Dario Argento sets, the 4K sets. They have what are called the Arte Originale. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but it's like, for instance, I have here Profondo Rosso, or Deep Red. So this is, I used to have which is right here, uh, an older single disc Blu-ray release of this. And also have another set from this is an older Blu-ray set from Arrow, the Region A set. I have it flipped over because actually I don't like the cover art for Deep Red. It's great cover art, don't get me wrong, but I think it gives away a little bit too much. So I'm just putting the back here. But what I like about this is the 4K release. 4K UHD release. I love about this is it's what's called the original. I guess it's the original cover art. Again, I don't have a 100% grasp on the history of the cover art designs that were used in the marketing for Deep Red during the initial theatrical run of this film. But if my assumption is correct, then this is yes. These designs, I think, are very, very cool. So I think you get more than one choice. I think, for instance, for Phenomena, which is what also I have here, you can get the like different versions of it. I don't know if I can't get all the versions of it, unfortunately, but it stretches my budget yen a little bit too far for unfortunately. So, but it's a great option for anyone who's interested. But anyway, um, what was I going to say? So Criterion, I know the issue is always with the digipacks. What to do with digipacks? Because I don't think one can do reverse full cover art designs with digipacks, and then you have to release them in separate releases. And I'm not sure how feasible that is in terms of what does one call it, marketability. But it could be, it could not. Again, it doesn't. It depends, I suppose. But anyway, I'm going way off track. I apologize. But I guess it's. Uh, why was I mentioning Arrow? Oh yes. So of course, yes. I was very. I was able recently to make that pre-order through the Arrow website, so I'm very happy about that. Thank you. Let's see. Mr. Chuck, 1928, thank you so much. And you're saying, trying to spot a 2001 Laserdisc behind you. I know it's back there somewhere. Yes, it is. I think it's actually off screen. Yes, it's off screen. It's actually it's right here. Because the shelves, I guess if you want to check it out here, I'll just scroll up a little bit. You see that? That's the shelving there. So, pardon me, there's some discs on the front of the shelf, so I please pardon the appearance there. But you see, that's the start, and it goes that way. So that's the spine order of the laser discs. And if you can tell, excuse me there, 2001, excuse me, I think Clue, the Blu-ray is there. You can see 2001 right, it's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. There you go. Right. Oh, I can't do this. I'm very bad. It's right around there. See that it says 2001 in blue lettering. So there you go. So I'm sitting down on the floor here, so pardon me. There we go. Oh, it's gonna fall. No, it's not. It's gonna be safe. Okay, so that's where it is. So anyway, I hope you're right. And actually, there are a number of releases, and actually, that's not the only place that 2001. Well, yes, there are actually different versions of 2001 in the Criterion Collection Laserdisc catalog, which is fascinating. It's fascinating, this area of Criterion's history. Very fascinating. I strongly encourage anyone who is interested in. It's in knowing about the Laserdiscs. It's a fascinating world. and I would say that I don't actively uh, I don't actively collect the Criterion Laserdiscs anymore. Once in a while, I will check them out, but not check them out, but check out the, say, online Laserdisc sellers and things, but not as frequently as I once did. But I, when I was very, very intensely in the, say, the Laserdisc hunt mode, in other words, I was intensely, there was a period when I was very, very uh, intensely trying to find wherever I could various Laserdisc titles in the Criterion Collection Laserdisc catalog. During that period, it was a very, it was one of the, I would say, probably, I'm not, I'm not the most experienced collector in the world, and so but based on my, admittedly shallow experience and very limited experience as a collector, I would still say that that time when I was very much trying to collect the Criterion Collection Laserdiscs, this was for me probably the most exciting time that I had as in terms of physical media collecting. It was confusing. It was so. I mean, I learned things. There are questions that are still unanswered in my head, and just trying to get various answers and trying to pick up clues and trying to see what was out there and what other versions might be out there and what's going on with this. Why is this here? Why is it? It's a big, fascinating, and sometimes even confusing journey to go on. So, but that makes it really fun. So I would strongly encourage anyone. You don't have to go and you spend your hard-earned uh, money to purchase all these laserdiscs, but you can, of course, read up on the laserdiscs. There are many sites on them. I have maybe not so many, but I have a few videos I think up that I made on this YouTube channel some years back, talking a little bit about them. So it's a really, really fascinating place, and so and even right now with Criterion's releases, as I mentioned, I think with the most recent Criterion announcement for their planned releases for January 2023. Criterion, I think, whether on purpose or not, I'm not sure because I'm not in the room when Criterion people are making their decisions as to what to release and what not to release. But the every once in a while, you'll get a announcement that Criterion is releasing this film into the Blu-ray or DVD or 4K collection. And lo and behold, it will have been a title that used to be in the Criterion catalog. And case in point, I just have it in front of me right here, which is Adventures of Baron Munchausen right here. So this is the older Laserdisc, which is at spine number 144 at the Laserdisc catalog. So I always am, whenever there's an announcement and there's a title that used to be a Laserdisc title, that makes me especially happy. So, but anyway, Mr. Chuck 1928, thank you so much. Thank you for asking about that. I'm always very happy when people ask about the Laserdiscs. So, let's see. Barry S. I like your Akira collection. Oh, the manga. Yes. The manga, I mentioned before, but I had these copies, and growing up, I read them, and so I had to get these as replacements of those because they were kind of falling apart because I was reading them too much. But yeah, let's see. If you had to switch your entire collection to either beta or laser discs, what would you choose? Oh, that's a very tough question. I mean, I used to have a beta player. I don't have any anymore. I used to have a beta player. When I was a kid growing up, my dad got us. It was a Betamax. It was a Sony Betamax. It was one of those things where you had the tape ejecting mechanism actually pop off from the top, right? It went like that. There's a little thing that went up rather than the side of the mechanism. There was no slot in the side, but it was actually came out from top. So you put in the tapes, and actually it was hooked up to the TV, and so I recorded. And this was I forget, maybe the 80s, 90s, I forget exactly, but I was living in the United States at the time. We had this Betamax player, and so we hooked it up to the TV, and so that meant that just like with maybe the what became right the VHS format, just like with VHS players, VCRs, with the Betamax that we hooked up to the TV, I would record all these shows that I loved as a kid. I remember in particular there was a show which is called um, let's see, it was on Nickelodeon, and it was called "You Can't Do That on Television." Now, I I loved that show as a kid. I love, is anyone there a fan of "You Can't Do That on Television"? Do you remember, was it Alistair and Christine and Lisa and right, the locker room jokes, and ready, aim, wait, stop the execution. What is it now? Okay, right. So remember those, or the um, I don't know. That was a big deal, right? As you could buy your own can of slime, which was just kind of just green goo, really, but it wasn't quite the same viscosity as it was that you saw on TV. But in any event, yes. So you can't do that on television. Barth, anyone remember Barth? But anyway, so the you can't do that on television was being aired, or was being, I guess, re-aired, or on Nickelodeon, repeat, and so I would record all these episodes of You Can't Do That on Television. Alanis Morissette was there, I think, as well, right? Um, and there was a whole thing about, she said after something, "Now I hate you," or something. She said, was it to Alistair? I forget. But anyway, it's been so long. But anyway, um, ugh, what was I? What was I saying? Oh yes. So yes. So we had the Betamax player, and I recorded all of these episodes off of the TV from of You Can't Do That on Television. So I think I had so many. I just watched. I love that show so much, and so now that I think back on it, I wish I had that Betamax player, and I wish I had those tapes even, because I could then revisit those You Can't Do That on Television episodes that I loved so much as a kid growing up. So in any event, yes, so the Betamax. But that being said, to go back to your great question, Barry, I think I would ultimately go to the laser discs, simply because I'm already kind of familiar with the laserdisc format, and I understand, especially with some of the great examples from Criterion, as shining examples, I would say, the laserdisc format is really a malleable and a very flexible format that allowed for a lot of stuff, a lot of information to be uh, included, packed into those discs. Again, depending on the technology specifically being used for a particular pressing, of course, I get that. But there's a way in which so much information was packed. I mean, for example, I could say that in some aspects, not all. I mean, I think it's a really good, healthy competition. But let's take, say, the Citizen Kane recent release from Criterion, the Citizen Kane release, and then take the Citizen Kane Laserdisc release. I mean, there are some areas where, in fact, the Laserdisc Citizen Kane release, with some of its special features, has more information included in those special features in the Laserdisc than is included in the recent what is it, Blu-ray release of Citizen Kane. And so, um, and not to say that it's a bad release, the recent one. I think it was great. I mean, it had the little hiccup with the issue of the 4K and the 4K and the transfer. I get that, but the it had a lot of information packed into it. And now, that being said, there were some areas where the Laserdisc, talking about the same subject, went into it a little bit more deeply. So I must applaud the Laserdisc format in that way as an example. And using that example, I would say the Laserdiscs. So, but it's a close competition, I think. So anyway, Barry, sorry about my long-winded approach to your great question. I tend to do that. I tend to just talk on, and I have to fix that. So I apologize for that. Barry, thank you, thank you, thank you, my dear friend. I hope you're well. Katerina, it's nice to see you. What a nice ici il est. So it's late where you are. So I apologize for the lateness of the hour, Katerina. I still recall with great fondness your comment left on a video about it was what was it in the context of Twin Peaks? I think it was the it was excuse me it was the it was the what was it? It was the double in the context of Raskolnikov, Dostoevsky, and the double. And so I thought that was a very, very astute and very good, excellent observation that you made. And then in the context, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was Twin Peaks. And as we know, Twin Peaks is a series that has a lot to do with what one might call that type of say, existential angst, as expressed in many forms, through many characters, through many stories in the works of Dostoevsky. So I'm not at all a student, an expert when it comes to the works of Dostoevsky. I have read the Dostoevsky works, so English translations. But while I don't hold myself at all to be an expert, I am, yes. What yes, I appreciated that observation from you very much. I thought it was very excellent. Pedro E mentions Terrifier 2. So I've heard a little bit about these films, but I haven't seen it yet. Ernest Scared Stupid, Cartwood. Oh yes, well done, well done. And Steve, it's nice to see Steve Moody. You say just ordered say hello to your cat as well. Just ordered the Shawscope box for $90. Oh, well done, well done. Pedro E will watch Pearl. So I've heard a number of things about Pearl, and I haven't seen Pearl. I haven't seen what's it, X. So I've heard a number of things. I'm very curious about this, but as I've mentioned many a time, I'm very bad when it comes to recent releases. So I tend to catch up with them very late after after all of the sort of the initial excitement has somewhat maybe subsided in a manner of speaking. So I might catch up with it a little bit later. But you say you will watch Pearl after this stream and maybe the end of the night with Creepshow. Ooh, Creepshow, well done. I have seen Creepshow. I've seen it, and I adore it immensely. So yeah, I adore Creepshow immensely. That was one that I saw as a kid too, growing up, on VHS rental. I mentioned maybe I saw Creepshow 2 first, and then I saw Creepshow. So it was a little bit of that. Like for instance, I don't know if you've done that with other films. For instance, that happened to me too with the series of films called Ghoulies. I saw Ghoulies 2 first. I love Ghoulies 2. I love. Are there any Ghoulies 2 fans out there? I love Ghoulies 2. That was the coolest film. Watching as a kid growing up, and renting that VHS tape. Ah, Ghoulies 2. What was it? Uh, was the tagline on the VHS cover for? Was it for Ghoulies or Ghoulies 2? Or maybe it was both. It was we will get you in the end. Right. So for those who know Ghoulies, right? But anyway, they took a little thing a little quick shot that was shown in Ghoulies, and they really upped the ante for that particular scenario in Ghoulies 2. But in any event, what was I saying? Yeah, so Ghoulies 2 was one I saw before I saw Ghoulies, and what a very fascinating transition to go from Ghoulies 2 to Ghoulies. It's the same thing to go from Creepshow 2 to Creepshow. But I think as much as I love Creepshow 2, and I think Creepshow 2 has a lot of that scared me so much. And right, but really scared me. But I think the shocks just wouldn't stop when it came to watching Creepshow. That was what I was so frightened. I would, when there's a scary scene coming up, there's the whole thing about hiding behind the sofa as a little kid because you're scared. Where's the jump scare going to happen? Well, I would do this. I would plug my fingers into my ears because of the sound from the jump scare. I'd be so scared. I'd just close my eyes, just waiting for the scary scene to pass. But I just try to peek through, and it'd just be like, oh, like that. So it would be so great. Yeah, and no fast forwarding, no reversing or anything. There's no chapter skips or chapter stops when it came to the VHSs. So I guess you could fast forward, but I never really and did that, I suppose. But just I'd be going like this and watching, the same thing. Oh my goodness, I had so many memories of that watching VHS rentals. So that was one, right? Creepshow was one. That was a really strong one. That was when I, for whatever reason, of the of all the films I think I watched on VHS rental as a kid growing up, I think that was the one that I can remember scared me a lot. I was doing a lot of this, that and um, what was it? Halloween 2. That was one that I would just be going like this all the time, just waiting for the scary scene to pass, but just watching through the corner of my eye when it would happen. So it was, yeah, that was fun times for me. Fun times. I still remember those moments quite fondly. So anyway, what was I saying? Yes. So thank you very much, Michael, Mr. Hello. It's nice to see you. And Matthew Lockwood mentions White of the Eyes on Midnight Pulp. Ty is here. It's nice to see you, my dear friend. Um, Pedro says a Criterion movie costs almost like a car here in Brazil. So sad. It's becoming harder and harder to become a collector. Yes, the prices are going up, and it's not true only for physical media items. Unfortunately, I don't know. The prices are. We are seeing a lot of things rising, and so or things like the purchasing power that one might have had at one point in the past is somewhat diminished, or perhaps quite significantly diminished, as we find ourselves in the current moment for whatever reason. And so, whether it be through inflationary pressure or the like. So, but that, of course, unfortunately, includes the price or the ability to purchase physical media items. So, but it's it's a tough thing. Excuse me, but my strong encouragement, my dear friend, is to it's why do we collect? We collect because we love movies, and so the movies will always be there, even if the collecting mechanism or the collecting function or the collecting avenue might be somewhat limited in the given current climate. The movies will always be there. So, uh, there's always a way. Um, what does Sam Neill say in Jurassic Park? Life found a way. Or I think he's quoting Dr. Malcolm, right? But what is it? Life found a way. So it's like movies find a way. So it'd be interesting if instead of I hope physical media never gets extinct. Blu-rays never get extinct, but if one day that doomsday situation were to befall us, if physical media or Blu-rays were to become extinct, then maybe they could make not Jurassic Park, but a Blu-ray Park, starring Sam Neill and Laura Dern, and they could have giant Blu-rays attacking people in the theme park. It's directed by Stevens. But anyway, that's a terrible idea. Forget that. Forget I said that. Anyway, um, yeah, right. Right. I love Blu-rays. Maybe I could be cast in that movie. I would be the character. What was his name? Wayne Knight. I could be like the Wayne Knight character in Jurassic Park. It'd be like Blu-ray Park, and I'd be the guy trying to conduct corporate espionage and steal all the little Blu-ray things in my can of a shaving cream, but then I'd be trapped by some attacking, you know, flesh-eating Blu-ray creature mutant that's trying to eat me. Oh no, help! And anyway, um, Pedro, thank you. Sorry about that. So any event, Criterions are expensive, but no worries, my dear friends. The films are always available through some means, maybe through means that are not so expensive. That's the thing too about films. That it's and just with the type of I mean, we live in this system, right? We live in a system of bartering, right? Purchasing, using consideration. The legal term consideration, which is the idea of exchange for goods and services. And so that's the system we find ourselves in art, right? In the world that it's called money, and then we use the money to purchase or use it in exchange for the receipt of some kind of good or service. So, and in that flow, right, therefore it becomes essential to have this thing called money. And so, but of course, with things that have a high cost to it associated with it, and with the concept of the profit motive, and the concept of profit costs, profit slash cost, right? Anyone who's one doesn't need to be an economics major to understand this, right? It's but it's the unfortunate, or fortunate, I suppose. I'm not sure, but it's just one of those situations where you just need the money, but now the markets are kind of all, I guess, all over the place. It's kind of an unsure situation. Yeah, I know. I understand exactly what you're saying. So as I mentioned before, my purchasing power has diminished somewhat. So everything's pretty much the same in terms of what I'm earning, my occupation, the like. So I'm very fortunate in that way. But just in terms of markets, in terms of exchange rates, in terms of inflation, things, everything is just becoming it's becoming more and more difficult to make the same amount of purchases that I used to make, say, like a year ago or a couple years ago. So even 3 years ago. So I understand exactly how you feel. Although, right, um, ultimately, right, I always like to think that films will still make some kind of way available for people to watch them. I always like to think that movie watching is ultimately a it ultimately can be a pursuit that can be enjoyed by everyone. So, and there's always a way. There's always a way to watch a movie. So, anyway, I'm so sorry to have gone off like that. I hope I hope you're well, my dear friend. Truly, I do. Jay, thank you so much. Oh, Jay leaves a super chat here. Thank you so much for that. Very kind. Wow, very very kind of you. Um, and let's see, Michael. Wow, very kind. Thank you. This will go towards another Blu-ray purchase. I think I'm not sure what exactly what title it would be, but thank you so much. Wow, very kind. Um, let's see. Michael asks, "Do you still play your Laserdiscs even if you have them on Blu-ray? I watched The Prince of Tides after your Laserdisc Blu-ray comparison." Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Um, I think, let's see. Um, yes, well, I'm sorry. I was about to say something in relation to your question there. Just lost in a moment there. I apologize. So, yes, to answer your question, I do watch the Laserdiscs somewhat regularly, and so uh, whether it be because an upcoming release or maybe not, it doesn't have necessarily to be connected to a release. Just maybe my mood at the time. So I'm as I enjoy watching the Laserdiscs very much. So and thank you very much for mentioning the Prince of Tides video that I did. Yes, there was the Prince of Tides Blu-ray release that occurred, I think maybe a year or a couple years back. I forget exactly when, but um, it was a great release uh, for a number of reasons. One of which I would say is that it marked the return of a title that had been a Criterion Laserdisc. And in fact, the Prince of Tides is the Laserdisc title of the Prince. Well, let me put it this way: it is my view that probably, if you had to speak to me about, if from a collector standpoint, for me, probably the most fascinating title in the Criterion Collection catalog, the number one most fascinating title from a collector standpoint in the Criterion catalog is The Prince of Tides. The Prince of Tides is the most fascinating title for me. It's number one, and the reasons are, as I've set forth, I think a little bit in that video that Michael very kindly mentions. So if you're interested, you can watch that video, which is still up on this YouTube channel. I think you just type in Prince of Tides or Daisuke Prince of Tides, and it should come up. And so you can take a look at that, because it's talk about talk about rabbit holes of collecting. That is one of the most fascinating, or not the, I would say, yeah, number one, the most fascinating uh, 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 in terms of Criterion Collection collecting and Laserdisc collecting. And in conjunction with that, there was the conversation to be had about what was found on the Laserdisc versus what was found on the Blu-ray. And the Blu-ray presentation and the Blu-ray release was also very fascinating as well. So I tried to express a little bit of that in that video. I don't know if I did a good job of that, but I tried, but I tend to fail at these things oftentimes. But yeah, so that was the situation with Criterion's release of The Prince of Tides. So thank you very much for mentioning that. I'm actually, that warms my heart. So thank you so much. I'm very moved by that. Thank you, thank you. Cartwheel Video, thank you so much. For you also leave behind a very generous super chat here. Thank you, Cartwheel Video. And you say, this goes to the fund that gets you the Human Centipede Blu-ray trilogy. Oh yes, thank you very much. So I don't, let's see. While I wouldn't call myself the I wouldn't call myself the biggest expert when it comes to the universe that is the Human Centipede. I know I've seen the films, the Human Centipede films, so they are quite. It's quite it's an intriguing. How should I put it? It's an intriguing premise, and so. But yeah, I mean, if that's your suggestion, uh, I'll certainly consider it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't abhor those films. That's for sure. They are. I wouldn't call them my favorite films ever, but I'm not. Uh, Maybe I kind of look at it somewhat differently. Or not differently. I should, let me take that. But maybe my approach, because it has subject matter that I know is quite risque and very off-putting. But I find it's acknowledging that feeling of sort of the abhorrent nature of the type of things that the story is tackling. There is a sense of a type of there's a real kind of scary story happening. So I completely, in that way, I find them very intriguing indeed. So, but anyway, thank you so much, and I hope you're well. Thank you. Very much, very appreciative of this Cartwheel Vita. Thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. Oh, Chiggers is here. Hello, hello. Yes, Decision to Leave. I know that had the release. So, I was no, maybe not so randomly. I was looking last night after my work day was over. I was looking last night on the internet, and I was just because I like sometimes to check out, for instance, movie theaters in the United States, what they're playing, and sometimes maybe independent movie theaters, especially because I love that type of independent movie theater experience. Just looking online, see what's happening. Now, I happened to across a movie theater website for a theater that was in Portland, Oregon, and I've never been to Portland, so I don't know I forget exactly what the movie theaters. I apologize for that, but they were saying how Decision to Leave was on the marquee, or it was being part of the schedule. So I'm very jealous. I hope that everyone enjoys that, whoever able to see it. Jared is here. Nice to see you. You're saying you got all the Die Hard films on Blu-ray. The Last Detail, Phantom of the Opera, Rob Zombie's Monsters film, which isn't that great. Could be worse. Oh, the Die Hard films. Yes. Yeah. I was. I love the Die Hard films. I think in particular Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance. So I love that cycle. um, Maybe the films that follow, they're really they're good. But I like those three in particular, uh, and they are. Uh, I mean, right? It's I think they're done with a lot of panache and a lot of skill. And I remember too as well that I remember when I was a kid, when the first Die Hard film came out, I think we were living in the UK at the time. And Die Hard in the UK was certified 18, which meant that I, as a kid, wouldn't be allowed in the theater. So, but my parents said, I don't think I was old enough to be left alone without a babysitter. I think. Um, so maybe I forgot that, but maybe there was a babysitter. I just forgot. But in any event, what the point is that my parents went to see Die Hard in the movie theater, but I had to stay home. And when they came back and they were just talking about Die Hard, oh, it was so fun, it was so exciting, it was so scary, and I was just listening into their conversation. And they had it the next day as well, just listening, just fascinated by what this film they saw was Die Hard. That I heard, like, oh, could you remember that scene with Nakatomi, and then right, oh, and then the glass, and I was like, what is going on? I really want to watch this film Die Hard now, but I couldn't because I was too young to go to the movie theater. Well, then later, a little bit later, when it was on video, I think I was able to convince my mom or my dad, whoever I was with at the time. We went to the video store to say, "Can you rent this and can I watch it?" I said, "Okay, whatever." So they rented it, and I went home and I watched it. It was really cool, very cool indeed. So I hope you're well. Have a great weekend, Jared. Yes, Pedro E says The Last Detail is so good. Not so, it's so good. Yes, I agree with you, Pedro. So good. Well done. Well done. Jason R. La Riviere says the Human Centipede films have always left a bad taste in my mouth. I saw what you did there, Jason. So well, I hope you're well, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Michael says I just watched the original Phantasm. Ooh, oh, well done. Well, it was something. Anyone a fan of this? I'm a fan of the series. I was actually considering doing a run of videos talking about the Phantasm films. I'm a fan. I wouldn't, again, I'm not an expert when it comes to Phantasm either, but I am a fan. Um, Dexter Green Rush, it's here again. Nice to see you. Let's see. Greetings from Nova Scotia. First time asking a question. Have you ever regretted a blind purchase from Criterion thing? So the question is, if I understand correctly, is maybe talking about there's a film that was released by Criterion that is one that I haven't seen, the one that I haven't seen yet, and I just purchased it without having seen it first. And so have I ever regretted such a decision? So I'm thinking back, and uh, let's see. No, I don't think so. So I don't think so. I think um, no, I don't think so. Let's see. Maybe outside of Criterion, I'm trying to think of an example. Was there an example of something that I regretted purchasing, something I didn't watch, I haven't seen before? let's see. No, I don't think so. Um, I mean, I guess regret. Have I regretted something? I guess the one has to consider what that could mean. If what the feeling of regret, what that means in that context. I mean, I might not like a film, or I might not immediately engage with the films. That's one thing, but that doesn't always, for me anyway, translate into say regret. So, um, like I can say, um, for instance, I don't want to sound, I don't mean to sound facetious or anything. So if I do, I apologize, but I don't mean, I'm being very sincere here. With like for instance, like maybe I would regret um, having that extra piece of chocolate cake at night uh, before I go to sleep. I mean, that's a feeling of regret that I have. But I love chocolate cake though. But if we're talking about one piece of chocolate cake versus a second piece of chocolate cake, well, I probably should have not have eaten that second piece of chocolate. I should have been satisfied with the first piece. But I went for the second piece and I ate the second piece. I wake up the next morning and think, oh gosh, the extra calories, the extra stress that it might have put on my body, my health. I'm not getting any younger, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the sort of thing. That's the regret I would feel. But I don't. Yeah, I don't have that same level of feeling with a film, say, a release that I might not have seen before, even if I really didn't like watching the film. So using that as a frame of reference, no, I don't think so. But um, yeah, but it's a great question. So thank you so much. I apologize if my answer isn't at all satisfactory. So, but lovely question, Dexter Jr. And I hope you're well. And greetings to you as well from Tokyo to Nova Scotia. So I would love to be able to visit Nova Scotia again one day. Lovely place, lovely people. So warmest regards, my dear friend. William Tatum's here. Hello. Yes. Oh, Pedro East mentions too. The Profondo Rosa set is so beautiful. I agree. Pedro. Those sets themselves are fantastic. Now, I haven't heard anything lately about any. Is there any news on the horizon? Will Arrow keep releasing these Argento films with these lovely sets like this? I mean, can we wait for a release hopefully of Inferno from 1980? I would love that. That would be great. Or can they get their the rights to other releases as well? That would be so great. Like if they could get. Could you imagine? I mean, there's the great Shameless release, the Shameless Entertainment release from with the yellow casing of Four Flies on Grey Velvet. But could you imagine a Four Flies on Grey Velvet? Wow, that would be so cool. Or oh gosh, I don't know. Well, I mentioned Inferno. I guess opera, but that would be so cool as well. Or maybe something. Gosh, Argento, or maybe even the recent film, Dark Glasses. I think that's the title that's commonly used for English release markets. I think, but gosh, I'm still waiting for to be able to watch Dark Glasses. I cannot wait to be able to see that. Or even if they released like with some of the later Argento works. I'm admittedly not as big a fan of the later Argento films as I am the earlier works, but still, I'd be really like the Card Player. I think the Card Player, while I wouldn't call it top tier Argento, it's still pretty good. It's actually quite good, and there's some jolts in that film that are quite, oh my goodness, quite unexpected too. So the Card Player, that would be a fascinating one. And anyway, uh, sorry. So thank you so much, Pedro. As always, it's always nice to hear from Pedro and Dexedrine and others here. Thank you so, Matthew, Michael. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for always stopping by, even for a moment. And Jared, and I know everyone is busy, so thank you so much for stopping by. That's the Swill Man. Don't you hate it when box art contains spoilers? That's a pet peeve. Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit of a, like sometimes I kind of see it um, when there is maybe I'm being a bit um, hypocritical when I say when you had the original cover art or the original poster that I grew up with, like watching, or just the cover, like the poster art or something from the original the release or something that maybe later down the line you could say, oh wait a minute, that actually is is actually a pretty significant you know what I mean? I'm usually kind of forgiving of that because it's just, oh, that's the art, that's the poster art that's just been around forever, right? But when it comes to recently produced, say, cover art or poster art design that has some kind of detail that might be said to be a very significant aspect of the film, then that's where I tend to kind of shy away from that. Yeah, so I agree. But maybe my approach is hypocritical. Maybe if I should be all or nothing, you know what I mean? So I recognize my own hypocrisy. Yeah, Swillman, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. Just scrolling down here. Sorry about this. Red Sun is here. Hello. Dexter in Rush. Again, thank you so much. You say, and you leave behind another a lovely super chat here. Thank you. You say wanted to show some support, long time viewer. Oh, my dear friend, thank you. Not at all. And I'm totally unworthy of your kind support and attention. But this is very, very kind of you. Thank you. And, thank you for your previous question about regret and blind purchases, etc. Um, I very much thank you so much. This will also go towards some kind of Blu-ray purchase, whatever it ends up becoming. So, warmest regards, my dear friend. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you. Blah blah is here. Yes, no, Lone Wolf and Cub. Yes. Yes, I've been recently just on this. I've had this Lone Wolf and Cub sort of appetite to revisit. So. And I think the Criterion release is for me, it's one of it's one of the great comprehensive places to go for a number of reasons, as you may know. So it's a really great place to go to revisit this world. Scrolling down here, Katerina says, I remember searching everywhere in Paris in vain for Cairo. Yes, that's yes. I don't know. I used to. I don't. Gosh, I still have that the Japanese release of that. So it's that is a really effective chiller. Yeah. Oh, William Tatum mentions Alanis Morissette and Kevin Smith. Yes. 5 bags of popcorn is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Pedro E. Um, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yes, of course, I had to count. I always count. It's 5. Is it 5? Yes, there are 5. So well done. Let's see. Pedro E. mentions the Twin Peaks series. Thank you so much for mentioning the Twin Peaks discussion series. So, as some of you may know, if you don't, that's okay. But as some of you may know, we've been going through each of the episodes, discussion, episode by episode of Twin Peaks. Now, um, it's we're in, I think, episode 24, 25. I think I'm supposed to release episode 25 discussions later today, so I will do that. So I know maybe for some people feel maybe Twin Peaks takes a little bit of a dip in terms of what I don't, but it's still it's a fascinating world for me, and I tried to make the case for it in those discussions. So I'm very pleased that you mentioned that, Pedro. Thank you so much. Eric is here. Eric Peepers here. Hello. It's nice to see you. Let's see. Matthew mentioned. Oh, there's also mentioned. Excuse me about. I skipped it. Matthew mentioned you before Paddle to the Sea, there is a Criterion DVD of that. Yeah. You also mentioned Devil Daniel Webster. Also, yes, also DVD. Yeah, waiting for an upgrade. That would be a great upgrade. I agree. I mean, the DVD is great. Don't get me wrong. The DVD is fantastic, but it would be again more. I think it might make for, again, the excitement of the release announcement, and people maybe considering it for the next, say, I don't know, Barnes and Noble sale or whatever it might be. So I totally agree. Yeah. Red Sun says, great video on. Oh, thank you. So you said great video on Videodrome. Thank you very much. Thank you. That means a lot. That really means a lot. You know, I um that video discussion on Videodrome was one that I was quite nervous about, because it's as I mentioned in those videos, Videodrome is a film. I mean, Cronenberg films in general like this, but in particular, Videodrome, I would say, is a film that within the space of its whatever it is, 90-minute or so running time, some whereabouts, it is so packed, filled with concepts that it's it has the thing of it can do circles around me. You know, it's like light years ahead of me, and I'm already quite, I'm already quite behind. I'm lagging behind in terms of my own ability to comprehend things, and then you have that position that I'm in, trying to approach this concept-rich film, which is Videodrome. So, needless to say, I was very nervous about it. I still am nervous about it. I hope it came off okay. Um, but but so that's very kind of you to say. Thank you so much, Red Sun. And you also say, we discuss Cronenberg's later films like Maps to the Stars and A Dangerous. Yes, yes. The plan is to talk about every single feature film by Cronenberg. I'm going at a very slow pace. I apologize. I wish I could do them like once a day. That would be ideal, but it's not possible. But I'm going in order. So then after Videodrome, the next step will be the Dead Zone, and then so we're in the 80s period, but of course it will go into the 90s period as well, and then of course we'll go into the films that you mentioned, to Maps to the Stars, right? It's which is this is I mean, I've mentioned this idea about the Cronenberg aesthetic. My argument for what the Cronenberg aesthetic is, I prefer to use that phrase than body horror. So I like to use the phrase, or I like to rely on the phrase, the Cronenberg cinematic aesthetic. And what I mean by that is some kind of aspect of the Cronenberg canon that has to deal with evolution, transformation, transhumanism, and change. And those concepts, and they're interrelated. Those concepts are set forth against the backdrops of, say, human existence, physicality, human sexuality, politics, religion sometimes, and even to the notion of revolution and political overthrow. And so, in that way, Maps to the Stars is so much a Cronenberg film. It is so much a Cronenberg film, and so it doesn't seem necessarily to have, say, the direct or immediate traits of a kind of horror film. I get that, but it also is very much. It is so in the Cronenberg realm. So I can't wait to talk about that one. Maps is um, that's one that I think, and also Crimes, the recent Crimes of the Future as well. I forgot to mention that, which I love that film. I love Crimes. I think that is like uh, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one as well. But that one is I think it's almost like it is a next step when it comes to this thing that I'm trying to articulate, which is the Cronenberg cinematic aesthetic. It's in many ways flying in the face of what he has been seemingly almost exclaiming through his works in a really bold way and challenging way. I love it. I love Crimes of the Future and Maps to the Stars. And also, yes, you mentioned A Dangerous Method. Now, A Dangerous Method too, this is so much within the realm of the Cronenberg cinematic aesthetic. This is incredibly important because because what happens is another aspect of the Cronenberg aesthetic is, and again, there have been many people, many people who have articulated this much better than I. But if I were to put it in my own base, oversimplified terms, it would be Cronenberg uses his cinema in many ways. One of the ways he uses his cinema is he uses cinema as a means by which he is expressing the link between psychology, the human psychology, and human sexuality. It is not always the case that we see the connection between human sexuality and human psychology. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I mean, sexuality can be very clear. Sometimes sexuality can be the most mysterious, unknown thing to us, right? And so it can be quite difficult to comprehend. So, but this is I think the place in which Cronenberg cinema sits, or the aesthetic sits, is that way in which he tries to discuss or or comprehend or challenge us with the possibilities of the connections between, or the disconnect between the two, whatever the case may be. Now, I think in that way, the dangerous method is so crucial in the Cronenberg canon. So I can't wait to talk about it. So I'm all set to talk about it, but it's just a matter of getting to it because again, I want to go in order. And when before we get to that, there's so many other places that I want to go, including the what's next up, which is the Dead Zone, which is another one. That oh gosh, oh god, I'm getting. I have to control myself. I apologize. Your question is so great, Red Sun. Thank you. Um, Thank you so much. Oh, Dan, hello, Dan. It's nice to see you. You watched The Lure. Oh, yes, that is a well done. Well done. I haven't spoken about that film on this channel. Maybe I should try to do that one day. But anyway, Finn is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Um, let's see. Oh, it's Steve Moody says, Buck. So it's nice. So it's nice to see you again, Steve. And once again, Buck, my warmest regards. Thank you. 5 bags of popcorn says, have you seen Halloween Ends? Oh, so Halloween Ends. This is the what's David Gordon Green, right? Who has a work in the Criterion Collection, by the way. So George Washington, in case there's wow, great. But uh, uh, yeah, so Halloween. Yeah, so Halloween. I haven't seen Halloween Ends. Um, I've seen what was it from 2018 Halloween, and I've seen Halloween Kills, and I found it's they're really interesting. Um, so I guess when Halloween Ends becomes available to me for me to watch, I'll try to catch up with it. I don't know when I'll be able to, but I'll try my best to catch up with it as quickly as possible. But yeah, I have heard about it. I have heard about it, and I've heard it has a I've heard a lot of how should I put it? I've heard a lot of buzz about it. So um, and yeah, so I'll wait. You know, I must say that maybe you know maybe I be based on my age, maybe I grew up in the 80s, so I probably should like Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, more than I actually do. You know, I don't maybe I find Halloween 4, I'm not as fan of Halloween 4 as say others might be. I like it. I think it's really good. I don't It's not my absolute favorite of the Halloween films. I like the trailer to Halloween 4. I love that trailer, but uh, Halloween 4 is a film. It's good, but I don't find myself so excited about that for certain reasons. Um, if you enjoy it, that's great. That's absolutely great. Uh, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. It's that's another fascinating work. Um, yeah, I find myself there's some parts of it that perplex me. But right then we go into the Curse of Michael Myers, and there are certain versions as well. One gets into a conversation about what version to watch with that one. So, but that is also one that I find it goes a certain way that it becomes almost like a different type of story altogether than the stories that I was accustomed to when I was watching, say, Halloween and then later Halloween 2. So It's a very interesting, say, avenue of evolution in a manner of speaking. So in that way, Halloween is in many ways like one of the most malleable film universes of the modern cinema age. Modern cinema, sort of popular cinema age. And so, because it goes through so many story iterations, I think there's so many, like it's like the Halloween films are like the ultimate multiverse. You could imagine Doctor Strange, right? And you can be, being in a Halloween film, and it would make total, you know what I mean? Because there's so many like alternate universes. And so could you imagine, right? Doctor Strange versus Michael Myers. That would be really interesting. But anyway, the yeah, it's just, as you know, for anyone who knows the Halloween films, that becomes that. So I've become accustomed to being like, and then of course we get to Rob Zombie, which that's a whole other conversation. It's a great conversation to have, I think, what Rob Zombie's vision is, which I think is so fascinating in a lot of ways. I maybe I'm There might be moments in the Rob Zombie films where I'm like, oh, okay, so they're going this way. Okay, okay, all right, I can respect that. I don't know if I'm totally with you, but okay. Like there's some things that I like. There's some aspects of the Rob Zombie films, Halloween, that I like, say, more than H2O. And then there are other aspects, say, of H2O that I like more than, say, the Rob Zombie. But the point with that discussion is I've already been, my brain has already been wired to expect different lines of, say, story arcs and different alternate universes and things in the Halloween films. And so I'm all set for that, which is why that was my approach to, but that was my approach to these recent Halloween films. So I don't have while I'm not so uh, deep into the new films. I have seen the first two, and so I have enjoyed a number of aspects about them. Let me say that. So I'm I love Halloween, and as a kid growing up, I saw, again, because of VHS rental considerations, for whatever reason elsewhere. I saw, I think, Halloween 2 more than Halloween. Excuse me. So that was one where I mentioned earlier in this live stream. I was just, again, due to certain circumstances, not because I'm not saying, oh, I love Halloween 2 better than, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's just, I saw it more, I think, than Halloween. And I saw Halloween a lot. And I saw it on TV, and and it was, oh wait, this is a different version. Wait, what is the scene? I don't use it, so that kind of thing came up during the whole watching Halloween during the 80s. And then um uh and then what was it? Um and then Halloween 3. Halloween 3 was, this was a film that I also saw as a kid growing up, and that was one of the early VHS rentals that I saw. So Halloween 3 is ingrained in my head forever. And I could say too that maybe in my life, if I had to pick, say, the top five all-time scariest moments for me watching a movie. If I had to sit down and choose my all-time top favorite moments, I would dare say that one of those top five scariest moments of all time for me is from Halloween 3. From Halloween 3. This is there. If you haven't seen Halloween 3, yeah, there is a lot of things that are quite quite unexpected about that. But yes, uh, if I had to choose top five all time scariest moments for me, in the top five, I dare say, would be a moment in Halloween 3. That is, yeah. So that's a great film. And again, I've done my my impression before, but anyone who knows Halloween 3, you'll know this when I do this, right? Ah, yes. And he's got that little smile, like, and everything, right? So it's, oh, great. But anyway, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, Pedro said we're going to get through this. I know what you're saying. Yes, we are going to get through this, my dear friend. We all are. We all are. So steadfast and strong. Yes. Kevin H is here. Nice to see you. Yes. William Tennyson, I love your idea for Blu-ray Park. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Um, uh, Yeah. Gosh, who would play the Sam Neill character? I don't know, Blu-ray Park, but I think maybe with the recent news about the film Bullet Train, maybe could you yeah, starring Blu-ray Park, starring Brad Pitt. That would be cool. Yeah, Brad Pitt. You know, Brad Pitt co-starring Daisuke Beppu. Oh wow, wow, yeah. Okay. Um, oh, 5 bags of Dachshund. We got Dachshund here. Says, oh, well done, well done. Great, great, great Jurassic Park reference. I didn't realize until much later that became kind of its own meme, right? Yeah, you can go on YouTube. You can see those repeated memes. All that's really cool. Clark is here. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Matthew with a super chat here. Thank you so much. Thank you. You say, hopefully this will come in handy for your future cinema purchases. Big fan. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for all you do and sharing your wealth of knowledge with. Thank you so much. And uh, uh, you you are too kind. uh, you are way too kind. Thank you so much. I am in no way. I wish I was smarter. I wish I studied harder in college. I didn't get. I wish I got better grades in college. I should have studied more. But I'm not in any way. Uh, uh, I wish I was smarter. Really wish I was smarter. There's so many things that go way over my head. Too many things. Basically, everything goes way over my head. So I'm just stuck in this kind of limbo of like, what the heck is going on with my life? What's going, this sort of thing. What's going on? I don't understand. So what's this film? I don't get it. I don't get it. So I always feel that way. So. But so you're saying this to me is very, very, very generous. So thank you. And then with the super chat as well. So thank you. Very kind indeed. So again, this will go towards a Blu-ray purchase. So I'm not sure what it will be yet. I'm thinking, are there any recommendations? Is there any? I should maybe check out Blu-ray.com after this, I suppose, and see what other sales are on. But um, uh, I don't know. I was eyeing. I haven't gotten those yet, but I was eyeing those Stanley Kubrick, Kino Lorber releases, the Stanley Kubrick films. So there's that. Also, I was recently uh, recalling, and again, this is from the 80s because I mentioned, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record here, but I was born in 79, but I grew up in the 80s. I had a dear friend of mine. I don't know where he is now, but when we were kids, we were friends. And we didn't have a falling out or anything. We grew up. I mean, I think we moved away or something and just lost touch or something. But when we were kids, he was a big fan of like ninja and ninja action films, and so through him and his excitement, and we'd have sleepovers or something, and he said, "Oh, what do you want to watch? Let's watch this." And it was Ninja 3: The Domination. And so there are those films. Right, there's Enter the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja and then Ninja 3: The Domination, and there's also a film that's called Nine Deaths of the Ninjas. Does anyone know that one? Um, there's a character in Nine Deaths of the Ninja, and I was so fascinated with how the character pronounced the word excellent. He didn't say it as excellent. He said excellent. So and maybe my memory is off, but for whatever reason, whenever I think of the word excellent, I automatically think of the film Nine Deaths of the Ninja. But yeah, going back to this little anecdote of right, it's kind of an insignificant anecdote. I apologize, but what was I saying? So as a friend I had a friend growing up, and he was a fan of ninja films, and so we rented Ninja 3: The Domination for a sleepover or something, and it was so cool. I was like, wow, what is this? This is so awesome. Like ninja fights on golf courses. Like where's this is amazing. And uh, you know, um, Sho Kosugi. I don't know how Kane Kosugi is has a it's kind of popular actually here in Japan. He appears every now and again in TV commercials, I think, here in Japan. But yeah, so Ninja 3: The Domination. I'm fascinated by it, and then through that I saw Enter the Ninja. But I think for me, the one that sealed the deal was Revenge of the Ninja. I thought Revenge of the Ninja was so cool. It was so cool. I mean, you kind of right. I mean, I look at it now, and I can one way I could look at a film like Ninja 3: The Domination and Revenge of the Ninja. I could look at it from the viewpoint of say maybe depictions, cultural depictions, for instance, and in that way, I might have some issue with it, sure, but through another lens of watching it, looking at it for what it is trying to do. Uh, I find it to be quite entertaining, and so maybe I might try to get those through these through these very kind super chats. I'm not sure, so thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Um, oh, that song, that theme song, this classic, right? It screams canon film, So it's just so cool. Um, but anyway, thank you so much, Matthew. I'm very kind, very kind. Jonathan is here. You're very kind, Matthew. Thank you so much. Um, Let's see. Griffin. Oh, Griffin Slack is here. Hello. You say, love your channel. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much, Griffin. Thank you. Yes, my day is off to a fine start. Thanks, thanks to being able to speak to you and others here. Thank you. It's morning here for me in Tokyo, Saturday morning. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. 5 bags. Popcorn's talking about, yes, Oregon. Yes. You're originally from London. Oh, yes. Also interesting. Yes. I want to do a Twin Peaks tour one day. I'd love to do it before before I die, before I shuffle off this mortal coil. I'd love to be able to uh, to do a Twin Peaks tour. I have to go to do a Twin Peaks tour, go to San Francisco to do a Vertigo tour, and then go to I of all the years I've lived in the U.S., I never went to Monroeville Mall. I never went to the Monroeville, which is outside of Pittsburgh, right? Never went there. So, one of the great regrets of my life is never being able to go to Monroeville Mall. It's still there, right? So, I'd love to be able to go to Monroeville Mall. Oh, wow. Not even go to the mall. I would be happy if it was closed, if I went there and just happened to be closed. I would be so happy if I could just walk around the parking lot. Oh, that'd be so cool walking around the parking lot going like this. Oh, wow. That would be, and then if someone, that would be a dream come true for me. But anyway, um, gosh, anyway, Eric E is here. Hello to you, Phantasm. Have a great theme. You're right. Absolutely right. Steven Schroeder's here. Hello. Yahir is here. It's nice to see you. And you say you're watching the Criterion and Twin Peaks videos. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you mentioned the work Homicide. Yes. Yes, this is in the Criterion Collection. Fascinating. Steven Schroeder say, will you tell us about a movie that helped you through a tough time? Oh, let's see. I think there are a number of titles I think that helped me through rough patches in my life. A lot of a lot of films I could say helped me through certain rough patches. Um, uh, like I suppose there was a period where I was. This is way before I was married. I was going through a kind of. I had. I was going through a very sad time with a sort of relationship that I was having, and it wasn't going that well, and so and I was feeling very sad about it, And so during that set, I was feeling so sad I didn't want to leave my house. I just woke up and I just felt just awful. I felt awful. It was like heartbreak, just heartbroken. And again, the heart, I'm not, it wasn't her fault. It wasn't, maybe it was, I think it was my fault more than, but right. But in any event, I still feeling so heartbroken. Um, so then I was just, this was right during, um, well, many, many years ago. But I remember for whatever reason, I was watching kind of on a loop during those whatever couple days when I was feeling so terrible. I just didn't want to leave the house and my apartment. I didn't want to leave that. Just want to go out and just stay in bed or something. I don't know. It just felt terrible for a couple days. But so I decided during that time I watched for whatever reason I decided to watch Alfred Hitchcock's Suspicion. And Suspicion might not necessarily have been the wisest choice necessarily because it does deal in a certain extent with say relationships and relationship difficulty in a manner of speaking. But I watched it over, and I just was kind of taken by it because I'm a big fan of the works of Hitchcock, and Suspicion is one of them. It's Joan Fontaine and Cary Grant, and it was a it was a way in which I could just be not necessarily forget my troubles, forget my woes, but it was something that wasn't completely unrelated to what it was I was feeling, but it was still something where I could fall into the world. And there were moments I just fell in to the world and and then by the time that was up and I was just watching it on a loop, I just woke up maybe the third day or whatever. I felt better. I just felt better again. I said, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I just go out and let's just enjoy this. Uh, so I think Suspicion helped me through that time. Yeah, many years ago. I haven't thought about that in quite a long time. Maybe I was trying to block it out of my mind. Who knows? That's an example. So yeah, it kind of worked out in the end. So thank you. Thank you for the question, Stephen, and I hope you're well, my friend. Thank you. Horrible show. It's nice to see you. I love Horrible Show. Tanner, my dear friend, one of my favorite YouTube channels. I love it. Let's see. Oh, Don Fletcher's here. Hello, and with a super chat as well. Very kind. Very just wow. Very very kind of you. Thank you. And you say, oh, very generous. Wow. You mentioned the Criterion flash sale a while back, and because of that, I picked up the new Lost Highway and When Horror Came to Shochiku and Up All Night with Robert Downey Sr. Thanks. Oh, well done. Well done. You have Eclipse sets there, which are near and dear to my heart. That Robert Downey set, and then Horror Came to Shochiku. Ooh, that's one of my favorites. So, well done. And as of today, I have not yet received in the mail my pre-order purchase of Lost Highway. I'm eagerly anticipating this one. So, yeah, I am. I cannot wait for this. I have been on what one might call a David Lynch uh, film run of late, including Lost Highway. Now I saw that in the theater, Lost Highway, and my goodness, wow, what a ride that is! Wow, wow. Oh, dun 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 dun. Yeah, so that's my impression of the title sequence. But anyway, yes. Oh, can't wait, can't wait. How many copies of Lost Highway do I have? I have I have two copies, I think. Yeah, I have yeah, it's right here. So here's one. Here's the DVD, right? Gosh, and then um there's a Japanese Blu-ray, which also has a DVD disc of Dumbland. Are there any fans of Dumbland out there? Yeah, that's another David Lynch work, but I have that one as well. the Japanese Blu-ray, somewhere here. I forget. It's somewhere around here. I forget where it was over there. So, yeah. So I've been eagerly anticipating what Criterion has in store for us. So, yeah, well done. Um, yeah. So Don, thank you so much. You're very kind, very very kind, and your kind, generous donation will go towards a Blu-ray purchase or two because it's very generous. So, what should I get? I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have to think about this one here. But I haven't seen the film yet, which is Licorice Pizza. I haven't seen this, so maybe I'll use the money to try to get Licorice Pizza. So, um, yes. Paul Casino, thank you. So nice to see you, my dear friend. What are your thoughts on Arrow? Oh, so Arrow. So I mentioned actually Arrow a little bit earlier at the start of this live stream. In fact, just quite casually. Uh, and yeah, so very a big fan, a big fan of Arrow. They're doing an excellent job. Um, let's see. I've also been on a George Romero film kick lately. Again, Creepshow was mentioned. Night Riders, which is one of my favorites. Martin, with the Japanese Blu-ray, is it? But of course, we're waiting for the whatever what is it? Whatever has any future releases of Martin has in store for us. I can't wait for any future release of Martin if those could happen. But I have my Japanese Blu-ray of Martin to fall back on, thank goodness. But one of the releases, of course, is the great set of uh, the George Romero works before was it After Night and Before Dawn, which is the collection of the three titles. There's Always Vanilla and Season of the Witch, Jack's Wife, and The Crazies. So and those are so great. The commentary tracks are just far out. The commentary tracks are like I every time I watch those films with commentary, I pause. I find myself pausing. I'm trying to write down what was being said because there's all this information. It's so fascinating. Yeah. So um yeah. And then uh, gosh, what was it? But not to say that I think um I don't like to think of it like, oh, which is better, Criterion versus Arrow, because I think they're doing slightly different things. But um and you know uh speaking of George Romero, though, of course, there's that great release from Criterion of the Night of the Living Dead release, which also came up again as a 4K UHD re-release. That's packed. That's so packed. And uh, while might not necessarily it might not necessarily have everything that's ever been made in terms of supplements on Night of the Living Dead. It has a lot, and it's a fantastic, I think, fantastic release. Um, I have to talk about the one very soon. There's a lot on the there's a lot in my there's a lot in my what's the phrase? I guess I'm trying to plan a number of video discussions, and so I was gonna do one right now this morning about the dead zone, but I just I wasn't quite in the zone yet, as it were. So I just wanted to have my coffee here, but then also make my coffee even more delicious. What makes coffee delicious? Of course, the coffee itself, but what makes it so delicious is the company of friends. And so, um, you, to be able to have my morning coffee and talk to you is wonderful. So this is great. But I what was I saying? So I have a number of things that I need to create the videos on. So one of them being the Night of the Living Dead release, but it hasn't happened yet. So. Yeah, here asks again about the work Homicide. I think it's really great. Yeah, I haven't spoken about it that much at all on this channel, but I think it's really great. I'm glad that you mentioned it. It's it's a really great addition. I hope more people are able to watch it, to maybe watch it through the Criterion release or elsewhere. William Tatum mentions The Offer. Yes, I haven't heard about the one. I haven't watched this, but I heard about the series The Offer from my barber, the place that I get my haircut. Which I have to get my haircut again in a week or two. It's getting a bit too long, but the barber shop that I go to, they have you can get a shave and a haircut. Um, right? Shave and a haircut. Okay, so any Who Framed Roger Rabbit fans out there? But anyway, um, the place I go to get my haircut, the barber or one of the barbers there is a big movie fan, and he was talking to me about, oh, you could watch The Offer or something on one of the Japanese streaming services. I don't have at the moment, but yeah. So, and he's a big fan of The Godfather. So we were talking about The Godfather. Talking about, oh, could you? That was a great story, and so that got me piqued my interest. So, thank you very much. Thank you for mentioning. Thank you. Yeah. So, um, uh, uh, yeah. So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really curious. Very curious indeed. Do you have a favorite behind the scenes story for a film? I don't know. I don't know if it's favorite, but I suppose. Well, I mean, I don't know if I have a favorite behind the scenes story. What would be one? Gosh, so many. I suppose so many that it's hard to come up with one. I suppose maybe just the the behind the scenes I mean, I mentioned David Lynch before, but I'll say it again. Eraserhead. It's one of the great legends of cinema. One of which is being how it was made. It was really made. I mean, how I was not really made. How it was made, and the time it took, and where it was done, and just the thought that needed to be sustained over this long period of time, while focused on this singular project. It's astounding to me. But anyway, yeah. Oh, Henry and Trooper Film Production. It's nice to see. Oh, I'm sorry. So, William, thank you so much for that great comment and question. Thank you. Henry and Trooper Film Production. It's nice to see you. Horrible Show mentions, I would love Four Flies on Grey Velvet from Arrow. Yes, me too. Nice to see you. Yes, just give me 1 second here. Oh, sorry, just one thing come up here. Here, just give me 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. Just fixing something. And now, whoa, where did I go? There we go. I'm back. Okay. Oh gosh, froze here for a second. Give me 1 second. Sorry about this. Just running into a bit. Okay, a bit of technical difficulty, but I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh gosh, wait a minute. Let's start it again. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I'm back. Back. Okay, so where was I? So let's see. Oh yes, so Chessbox47 is here. Hello. Mentions oh, License to Live. Oh, yes, the Kurosawa work. Yes. Oh, it's frozen up again. Okay, and let's see. Yahir mentions Twin Peaks, possibly one of my favorite shows, underrated. Optimus got slimed. Any favorite Trauma movies? Oh, Trauma, yes. So Lloyd Kaufman. I don't know if it's true or not, but um, I went to the same. I think I went to the same university as Lloyd Kaufman did, and someone said that the dorm room that I had as a freshman was the same room that Lloyd Kaufman had. I don't know if that's true. That's what someone said to me when I was in college. So again, I don't know if that's true or not. Did we go to? Is that true? Did he even go to? Hold on. Let me check that. Um, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, uh, someone said that to me when I was a freshman or something. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't imagine that happening. That's just too much of a coincidence. But in any event, yes, yes. I suppose I'll have to go with. Um, I mean, the one I saw the most as a kid was Toxic Avenger. So, um, oops. Now what's going on here? I don't know what's going on here. My my. Well, it's weird. Sorry about this. I'm so sorry. There's something going on with this. Um, hmm, it's really weird. My chat window is acting up on me. I don't know what's going on here. Um, Sorry about this. My chat window is acting a little bit funny. So um, I don't know what's going on. Like there's some. It's kind of freezing up here and there for me. So I'm just I'll work with this as much as possible here. Sorry about this. Um, Horrible shows. I can't wait for the Dead Zone and Carrie videos. Thank you so much for that, my dear friend. Thank you. Um, let's see. Oh, Damien P. Hello, it's nice to see you. The Great Beauty. Well done. Yes, yes. I have never spoken about this work, unfortunately, on this channel. But oh, well, yes, well done. Yes. Please let me know what you think of it when you've seen it. Bry Guy 5622 is here. It's nice to see you. Hello. Uh, gosh. Um, Oh, Magic Owl says, "Oh, thank you. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you." You mentioned, oh, Severin. All the hunt. So, oh, great. So I don't have this, unfortunately. So, but yeah. Oh, nice to see you. Doctor 13 is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Rachel's Ghost is here. It's nice to see you. It's always nice to see. Yes. Life Force and Halloween too. Yes. Doctor 13 says, "I just found a copy of Trick or Treat with Gene Simmons." Oh, interesting. I've never seen that. The Cinematheque is here. Hello. I'd love to see you rank the Halloween series now that it's all ended. Thank you very much. One day, maybe. I'm not sure. Um, uh, yeah, I can, uh, right. Here's my, this is not gonna, I don't think this is gonna spoil it. Here's my, uh, Dr. Sam Loomis impression from Halloween. Okay. Hey, yeah, so there's a little bit of a profanity there, so I kind of blurred it a bit. But okay, that's one, and then that's my Dr. Sam Loomis after he said that. So that's yeah. Let's see. What else is a good Halloween impression? Um, what is it? Uh, Speed kills or something. I don't know. Totally. Anyway, uh, let's see. Um, Uh, Ben Tramer. I knew it. Yes, I knew it. Yes. Okay. Anyway, um, sorry. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So Cinematheque. Thank you. So Halloween. Yes. A big fan of Halloween film. Steve Moody. Thank you with the super chat. Well, I'm so honored by this. Thank you. Very kind of you. You say, I really appreciate your enthusiasm for certain films. I've discovered many new favorites by looking into movies that you enjoy. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Steve, and warmest regards to you and Buck. And I still remember the General Zod impression. So thank you so much, Steve. You're very kind, Steve and Buck. Warmest regards. D Wallace is here. Thank you so much. Daisuke, the most soothing voice on YouTube. Now, thank you very much for that. No one has ever told me has ever complimented me on my voice. So except certain very lovely comments that I've received on YouTube. So I've been very honored and very happy to have received those over a certain period of time. Thank you. I wish I had a really nice voice. Actually, I don't know if my voice is that good. No one's ever said to me, "Oh, you're," it's complimented me on my voice before, so I'm not quite used to it, to be perfectly honest. But I'm very appreciative of the compliments, all the same. So thank you very much. You're very kind. Um, uh, I got a comment recently about like um, what was it? ASMR. Sometimes people put my videos on to go to sleep. Um, I don't. I take those as like 100% compliments. I mean, I really do. I'm very honored by those. So thank you so much for listening in that way. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I'm very touched. Again, it's I'm not I'm always I'm not quite sure how to process it because I'm not used to receiving these kinds of compliments. So thank you so much. I'm very appreciative. Thank you. Very kind. Um, let's see. So Lauren is here. Hello, and you say, "Good morning, Daisuke." Good morning to you. Can you share your latest film pickups? I just received Alligator. Oh, and the Blob. So you got is the Alligator one? Is that the 4K one, recent one? I'm not sure. That's really cool. I haven't gotten that one yet. So over on the Shout sale. Okay. So I haven't. What did I get recently in the mail? I got some earphones. I got some earphones in the mail because my older earphones broke. They're just these like cheap earphones, so I needed them for work. That reminds me, I actually no, I don't know. Anyway, what did I get before that recently that came in the mail? What came in the mail? Um, I guess it's the Criterion titles. So the Criterion titles that came in the mail recently. What came in recently? It would have been Night of the Living Dead, yeah, the 4K. So that's the most recent one because after that it's the what Cure or Lorient Lost Highway. I haven't received those yet. So um, yeah. So the Blob, 1988, the Blob. I love that film too. There's a scene in the Blob with a phone booth, which is wow. As a kid growing up watching it, wow. And also there's a scene involving a kitchen sink. Wow. Oh, wow. And then Alligator. Okay, so this is the Robert Forster film, Alligator, right? So uh, um, uh, how should I put it? I will never, ever, ever swim in a pool at night when there are no lights on, thanks to Alligator. All right. So anyway, I hope you're well, my dear friend Laura. It's always nice to hear from you. Horrible show with a lovely super chat. Thank you. You're very kind. Wow, very kind. What the Holling took. Thank you. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Dr. 13. Oh, thank you so much. Brad Pitt isn't as sexy as Daisuke. Unfair casting. Well, you're very kind. Very kind indeed. Um, let's see here. Um, Katarina says, "Aren't proud." Oh yeah, oh gosh, I almost went through the chat without seeing a spam. Oh, I hate these dating site spam. I hate these so much. Gosh, I really hate these. But I'll leave it up. I don't delete comments, but except if it's obvious spam. But there's no links, so okay. Don't click on any kind of suspicious or bogus links. All right, don't ever do that. I always try to remove those because those aren't cool. Those are not cool at all. And if someone accidentally clicks on it, and what happens, that's not cool at all. So I always try to prevent that. But if something does come up, just ignore it. So, but I apologize. I'll try to do better. So, um, and thank you so much. I was gonna read something from. Let's see. What's this? Oh, I think speaking of which, as I was going to do this, there's a comment that was also, oh no, Katarina's comment I wasn't speaking of your comment, Katarina's, but I think it was just accidentally deleted. Now there's a comment that was accidentally deleted. Oh, I'm so sorry, Katarina. It wasn't me, but I think it was just accidentally deleted by a moderator. But no offense, but let me read your comment right now. I don't know if we can uh, can that be replaced? I don't know. I think Mike, Mike, are you out there? If so, can it be replaced or restored? If not, that's okay. But let me read it right now because Katerina, you said, Daisuke, aren't you proud to be with such passionate people? I love you all. You make my day. Katerina, thank you so much for that. Oh yes, Michaela, no problem at all. So it happens, not a problem. But I read it out the comments. So Katerina, please accept my apologies for that. I think it was just accidentally deleted, but no reason to. It's just a simple mistake. So I apologize for that. But it's a lovely comment. Thank you. Let me in fact retype it in here for purposes of everyone here. Um, Let me just retype it in here. So I don't want to. I want to respect that one. So let's see. Where was it? Um, oh gosh, I was going to type it in, but now I lost my place. Oh gosh, let's see here. There we go. Okay, let me now just retype. So from Katerina, and I'll just put here. Um, let's see. Let's see. I'll just put this in here, which is Daisuke aren't. Excuse me while I just type. Are you proud to be within such passionate people? I love you all. You make my day. There we go. There we go. There we go. And it has been restored, sir. So there we go. I just put it in the chat so people can say it. So thank you so much, Katerina. Again, I apologize for that. Let's see here. Going now, my chat window is just acting all funny today. I don't know what that is, but I can stick around for another few minutes here, so I'll do so. The Cinematex says, "Do you still collect Masters of Cinema?" I do, but not consistently anymore. So actually, I should say that I don't have a complete Masters of Cinema collection anymore. I used to, but I couldn't keep up with it because of again, I can only spend so much within the month, and with my family, I need to devote money to other parts of my life and my family's life. So, but I still have room for Criterion. So and other titles, and then other Masters of Cinema and Eureka titles that come up now and again. Let's see. Bry Guy 562 to Hey Spammer, this is a dignified dice case. How dare, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Timothy is here. It's nice to see you. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for those lovely messages. You're very kind. I didn't respond yet, but I should let me respond to what you're very. I was so moved by those. So thank you so much, my dear friend. Thank you. I remember our conversation with a great deal of affection. Infomagine is here. Nice to see you. Yeah, and Bry Guy 5622. I think there's mentioning of the mall, the Monroeville Mall. I'd love to be able to go there. Oh gosh. Oh wow. Oh, Informagene says an old buddy of mine is a huge Romero Dead fan. He's been to the Monroeville Mall more than once, a pilgrimage from Connecticut, Massachusetts. This summer, he and his wife took a nighttime Camp Crystal Lake tour in New Jersey. Wow. Wow, that's so cool. Wow. Wow. Wow, that's so cool. Oh, Horrible Show mentioned also, dude, I'll go to Monroeville Mall and play one of your videos. You'll be there. Oh, wow. Are you near? Are you in that vicinity, my friend? Oh, cool. Oh, you were, I'd love, oh gosh, Pittsburgh. Oh gosh. Anyway, wow, cool. Um, Oh, Pedro E says, I just watched Seinfeld and Infinitum when I'm done. So this is the question about what you watch if you're going through a rough patch in life. Let's see. So I will, yes, Seinfeld, right. Um, are there any Seinfeld fans here? Right. It's a little mint. It's a junior mint. Is anyone here a marine biologist? Or let's see, what else? Um, uh, right, what else? Gosh, those are Seinfeld references for anyone who knows the show. Let's see. Um, let's see. What was that one? Um, let's see. Uh, oh gosh, there's so many. I don't want to spoil. I was thinking, oh gosh, I should say that one, but that's a little bit too risque to say here. But there's so many. Yes, Seinfeld was so great. Yeah. Right. That is one magic loogie. Yes. Yes. Anyway. Um. Let's see. Oh, Bri Guy 5622 mentions Devil's Tower. And all right, scrolling down. Let's see. Um, yes, Timothy says, yeah, I should get Top Gun Maverick. That's a good suggestion. I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick yet, so maybe I should get that one. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that suggestion. I'm sorry, just scrolling down here. Nice. So, Mikey, it's nice to see you. Yes, nice to see you so much. Um, let's see. Kei Nishimaru, it's nice to see you. Hello, Kei. And you say, curious question. Let's say about custom, personally done at home and kept their Blu-ray discs. What are your thoughts about them? Also, hello from an extremely early morning perspective. Hello. So, custom Blu-ray discs. Again, I don't know. Um, I'm not sure. I know some people do say custom covers of that. So again, whatever works for you, and if you enjoy the interacting with the work and the title that way, that's great. So uh, it's nice to see you, Kay. It's always nice to see you. Nice. Red Sun. Red Sun. Yes, thank you very much for the response about the Cronenberg. Yes, I'm very excited about it. Blaze Sawyer is here. Thank you so much for coming in. Hey, long time viewer, first time commenter. Oh, so thank you. Welcome. Blaze Sawyer. You say, what's an underappreciated film you think everyone should see at least once? Oh, okay. Let's see. Um, um, Underappreciated. I'm not sure. It, it, um, they don't maybe they don't get as much attention necessarily. Well, actually, I should take that back. I don't want to say attention. That's not the appropriate word. Let me strike that. Let me say instead that it would be maybe it would be like if I don't know if they're part of the conversation as much, but um, the works of the filmmaker um, Oscar Michaud and maybe specific. I guess I wouldn't call them underappreciated because they're very appreciated. In fact, they're very appreciated indeed. But so I don't know. It doesn't answer the unappreciated part of your question, but maybe films that I think people should see at least once. That's definitely the case. In particular, the surviving silent works of Oscar Michaud. When we get to the sound works of Oscar Michaud, there might be a little bit of an interesting conversation that happens there. But the silent films of the silent films of Oscar Michaud are films I think everyone should see at least. They're really fascinating. Let me write his name in the chat. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see. Uh, Pedro E says, can't help but smile at your impressions. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. I am the one that I'm proud of the most, if one can say that, is that I did a live stream. I mentioned this before me. I did a live stream discussion once of the film Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. And I did my Captain Admiral Kirk. He was Admiral Kirk. So I did my William Shatner Kirk impression there a little bit, and then I also did my Christopher Lloyd impression. So I'm very proud about that. I mean, they're not good, but I was happy about this because I love that film so much. So what I'll do is I'll cut out that clip and I'll put it up on YouTube after this live stream is over, in case you're interested. And so that's the one that I like. So it's the clip between Kirk and it's William Shatner and Christopher Lloyd. So I do my William Shatner, and then I do my Christopher Lloyd impression there. So I'll put that excerpt up. That's maybe it'll be like a minute or something. I'll put it up on the YouTube channel and then on my Instagram later if you're interested. So if not, don't worry. Just don't play it. That's not a problem. Let's see. Yeah, Bright Guy 562. He's like, WTF is yes. Thank you so much. I'm um okay, once in a while I'll get these promotion ads into my feeds, and then there's this woman who's speaking into a microphone saying something like, I think she's promoting a video or something. She said, the sound of my voice is going to help you sleep because I'm talking in this. I'm like, oh, that's very curious. But yeah. So if we're talking about that kind of stuff, I don't consider my voice to be in any way on that level. So I remember that particular ad. The woman in that ad had a very soothing voice, in fact. So and that was the point of the ad, I think, is to highlight the soothing nature of listening to that voice. But I don't think my voice is in any way comparable. It's completely non-soothing in my view, but my voice is. So let's see. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, yes. So Pedro, thank you for helping me with um, that spammy comment. Yeah. Um, let's see here. Okay, says actually the relaxing tone of the voice helps put me to sleep on some difficult nights. So thank you, thank the Lord for your existence. Oh, not at all, not at all. Yeah, you're very kind. Thank you. Very professional. Thank you so much. Oh, Mike Eli, no, don't worry about it. We took care of it. Katerina, not a problem, not a problem. Um, I was able to rewrite the comment in the chat there. So let's see. Pedro says, I hope you're well, Mike. It's always nice to see you. So, Pedro says, everyone is so nice and the internet is full of hatred, so it's a breath of fresh air. Oh, that's very kind of you. Dr. 13 says, I go out of my way to tell people about Daisuke. Oh, is that? Oh, thank you so much. Well, that's very. Oh, wow, wow. I'm. That's very. I'm very moved by that. Thank you. Um, William says, this is truly such a nice community that you have curated here, Daisuke. I always enjoy the opportunity to participate in it. Oh, thank you. I mean, it hasn't necessarily. I must say that I don't think I'm in any way responsible for the creation of a kind of community. I think it was always there. I'm always happy to be just part of just you're allowing me to be part of the conversations. So thank you so much for that. As far as doing this YouTube channel is good, I mean, there have been, and like with anything, any online endeavor, there are always hiccups, and there are always the unfortunate thing here and there. And even now, I get sometimes just some maybe unnecessarily unfortunate comments or messages, but no, it is what it is. So, or to quote. To quote to quote Joe Pesci in The Irishman, it's what it is. So and then it's dealt in a certain way, I suppose. But I guess it's going in a kind of different route, I suppose. But my point is that it's just, yeah, that just goes with the territory. But in fact, I'm very, very fortunate because I would say that maybe nine out of 10 or 95% of the stuff that I receive, the comments or private messages or whatever, are always so very nice. So, and I have you to thank for that. And you always, you, I'm so happy too because um, a lot of people are very protective of this channel. I think more so than like you are protecting the interests of this channel and me more than I am myself in a lot of ways. So I have to really kind of be more on the ball with these things. But you are very like you're helping me like reporting kind of spammy comments or something like that, or the like, or some like that sort of thing, or if there's a kind of maybe something that's maybe not so pleasant in a conversation channel or chat or something, you're always there to sort of cover me or help me out or protect me. And so I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much. And again, that's one of the reasons why I always say, and it's the truth, and I always say that I wouldn't do this channel if were it not for you. They weren't there, so I wouldn't be doing this channel. So thank you so much. Really, thank you. Um, I'm not doing anything special. Really, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just sitting here in a small corner of my room with my cracked iPhone. So, and so if doing that enables me to be able to connect with people like you, right? And to meet people like you and to learn from you and to get film recommendations from you and your kind, generous attention and conversation and super chats and lovely comments. And if doing that means I can get to interact with you, then heck, um, right? Count me in, right? I'd buy that for $1. And I wouldn't stop at $1, right? And I'd buy that for right. It's worth so much to me. So thank you so much for this. Thank you, truly, truly. The honor is all mine. Really is. Um, let's see. Oh, Rob Kramer. Hello, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you, Rob. I just finished reading a comment from you on a video, in fact, so I haven't responded. I think I apologize, but the Amazon driver just dropped off my Criterion editions of High and Low and Tokyo Drifter. Oh, Ghost World and the Air edition of Black Test Car around the road. Whoa! Oh, wow! That's great. Have you seen those yet? High and Low and Tokyo Drifter. Wow, fantastic. Um, Oh, Jovial Josh is here. Hello. Hello, Daisuke, the Criterion God himself. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Uh, you know, have you seen Ghostbusters? Are you a god? I say no. So, but anyway, thank you. It's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. I'm not in any way an expert when it comes to Criterion. But I like Criterion releases, of course, but don't get me wrong. But I wish I knew more about them. But anyway, your question is, I was wondering what it is about Criterion release that makes them so great to have. I don't own many myself; they're quite expensive, and I'm very intrigued. So, um, for now, like I have just I have made a conscious choice to continue on with my cinema journey. And in that way, I consider Criterion to be like it's like, back in the day, you'd get a monthly recommendation, like book recommendations or something, or movie recommend. That's what Criterion is for me right now in a very great and I think healthy way. Because it allows me to re-watch films that I've maybe seen before, but now under, say, a new restoration or new version or new supplements or something. Or I can watch something that I haven't seen for the before. So that will be it's one or the other for the Criterion monthly releases for me, and so that is continuing on my own cinema journey, and that's good for me too because um, uh, how should I put it? It's always it's always hard for me to try to branch out into other areas that I'm not necessarily accustomed to in terms of cinema works. So to have Criterion in a sense make those recommendations to me is very helpful. Now, I grant you that Criterion, I know, is not in any way a whole representation of the entirety of cinema. I get that, and so I think having not just Criterion but also other title labels, I think is a very reasonable approach to have. I just happen to focus on Criterion because it just suits those particular, say, needs I might have, say, as a consumer, those needs I've just mentioned. So it could have been any other label, I suppose, but for me, Criterion, I like the overall. I like that. I find it's quite balanced. I mean, there are aspects of the Criterion collection, I grant you, that are maybe not so represented in terms of genre or filmmakers as others. I get that, or types of films as others. I totally get that, which means that other labels become more valuable in that way. But that being said, I find overall, for me, the balance is quite good for what I'm looking for in terms of my own continuing personal cinema journey and the like. So I'm very pleased with that. Also, the Criterion catalog is it, it it's been around for a very long time, and for me too, there's a whole sense of history with regard to the way in which we understand physical media right now. Now, that's not to say that Criterion's physical media releases right now, all the time, every single release is always going to be like tops. It's going to be 100, 100 out of 100, right? There are parts of Criterion releases even now that I find, oh, I wish they could have done this a little bit better. I wish this could have been added or something like that. Maybe there's no commentary track, or maybe the supplements, they could have added a new supplement. I'm totally with you with those conversations, um, but uh, um, or the packaging or the cover. Right, but it comes down to the film itself, and it also comes down to, again, my own personal cinema journey, which I want to keep ongoing, and I also want to keep a kind of Criterion in a way curates that part of my cinema journey in a way that helps me to discover new titles. For instance, I wouldn't have watched, for instance, Fayadai, or I wouldn't have watched films that I've seen for the first time through the Criterion releases that I hadn't seen before, like A Farewell Amour, or um, uh, um, One Night in Miami, works like that. So I'm very much very grateful for those opportunities, and so uh, uh, quite incredible. Um, and So Criterion is incredibly valuable in that way. And then, of course, you've got the sort of the releases of films that maybe I've seen before. So those are also very helpful to me as well, and provide a potentially rich and rewarding experience. Now, that's not to say that I love every single aspect of every single release of Criterion. I mean, there have been some aspects of some Criterion releases. There's one Criterion release in particular that was quite recent. I won't name it, but there was one Criterion release that was quite recent where the which had a supplement on it, which was like a kind of a discussion supplement, and there was a way in which the supplement discussion was framed, the framing of it, which I found to be very off-putting, and I found that to be very, I don't want to say offensive, but there's it was something that I thought wasn't the most appropriate way to present the subject matter that was at the heart of that discussion. Let me put it that way. The framing of that discussion was something that I wished it could have done without. Now, it I don't want to get into too much detail, but it had a somewhat overtly political uh, 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 tendency about it. Let me put it that way. So I I I would have appreciated something that had a not such a direction, because it was I think the connection was trying to be made that this approach, this framing approach, and the content of the film, there was a connection. Where, in fact, I don't think there was a connection. I think it was just. I think if that kind of discussion can be made in a way that has an organic connection with the film, I'm all for that, because there are political aspects which are very, very key to a lot of the films and the discussions. I mean, very key indeed. But if it's something that is I that the connection is not very well articulated or not well discussed, it's just there because of maybe some other, let's say, agenda, then I don't really appreciate that sort of stuff. I if I run into that, I'm not quite on board with that sort of thing, and I would appreciate at least if that is going to be made, and I don't, and this doesn't have to be just for Criterion, but I always appreciate if that's going to be made, then it could be made with maybe more if that approach is going to be made, at least show me more of a connection. Give me the argument, the points of your argument as to why you think this connection is an organic one, and I'll be with you. But I didn't find that connection at all being made, so I kind of took. I was a little bit. I was a little bit disappointed with that, to be honest. But that aside, I think so that I bring that up because I'm not a. I don't find I'm not. I don't want to seem. It might seem that way to some people. Like I just love everything from Criterion and that's it. I don't want to seem that way. I don't look at it in terms of I like it or I don't like it. I always look at it in terms of how do I engage with this work? How am I able to engage with this work? Now, I consider that to be a big distinction. I consider that to be a big difference. Um, Maybe in my engagement, I express a liking for something, or maybe in my engagement, I express a disliking for something. I think the ultimate example of this for me is I can say that I, if someone asked me, do I like the film Salo, 120 Days of Sodom? Do I like it or I don't like it? If someone asked me, I'll say I don't like that film. It makes me very uncomfortable. It makes me very, very. I'm disturbed by it. It's unpleasant. I don't like to watch that film. So, but if someone asks me, do I engage with that film? I say, heck yes. I engage with this film. I feel so engaged by this film. It challenges me. It brings up questions. My response of not liking it is itself a point that needs to be, or I want to have maybe considered for me. Why am I not liking it? Oh, the reason why I'm not liking it is such and such and such. And oh, that's the so this is very important for me. And so it's if so in that way, I suppose it could be any label. It could be very much any label, but if it happens to be Criterion because I've known the Criterion titles from way back, and they continue to release these titles in this fashion, which suits me very well in terms of my own needs as a consumer. So anyway, I hope that answers the question. I'm a really great one. So thank you. But they are expensive. They're very expensive, and they're not getting any cheaper. I always set aside a little bit of my monthly allowance for Criterion titles, but I must admit lately my monthly allowance is all but eaten up due to Criterion titles alone. So, but anyway, thank you so much, Jovial Josh. Thank you, and keep me updated on your Argento journey as well. I'd love to hear about it. What was it? Giallo, the film Giallo. I don't know if you'd seen that yet, but anyway. Sucked is here. Hello, Sucked. And let's see. Um, oh gosh, are these Seinfeld? I'm at the point where there are these Seinfeld references going on. Oh wow, great. Um, great. Oh, and there's also a Bright Guy 5622 Admiral. Is that a Star Trek reference there? Okay. I know Wrath of Khan too. Yes. Um, Sammy Newcomer. Hello, Sammy Newcomer. You say, "Hi, Daisuke. I have been watching Twin Peaks for the first time, not quite caught up with your videos, and watching your videos along the way and loving." Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. Oh. The Swole Man, favorite Disney film? Mine is The Three Caballeros. Oh, it's interesting. I don't know if I have a favorite necessarily. I do enjoy. Let's see. Um, let's see. I think the one that I saw the most as a kid probably was Pinocchio. Um, and then now for me and my kids, it's like Frozen and Frozen 2. Right. Let's see. Oh, the Ranch Hand. Hello. I used to collect until I hit about 1,500, then went into rehab. And I just enjoy the obsession through you and do commentaries for Kung Fu film releases. Oh, interesting. Oh, the Ranch Hand. Interesting. Oh, what? Let me know what are some of those films that you do commentaries for. Are you on any releases, the Ranch Hand? If so, let me know. I'd be very curious to hear that. Well, nice. It's nice to see you. Thank you. Oh, Chronologic says, I want to say thank Scream Factory for including the TV version of Army of Darkness. Oh, cool. What's your favorite Sam Raimi film? You asked me. So yes, Evil Dead 2. Although I do like Spider-Man. Oh gosh, shall I do it again? Again, my terrible, terrible Tobey Maguire impression. All right, here we go. Which is all right. You know. Mm. So, all right. Sorry. I love that film, anyways. So, um, yeah. And I occasionally I see it on Instagram. There's an Instagram with a little boy who's dancing in a dance floor. He's dressed up. It's like Spider-Man 3. Oh, that's so cool. That's so awesome. Right. Yeah, but anyway. Um, Kay Nishimura says, by the time you read this, I've likely collapsed into sleep. Oh gosh, so good night. Thank you so much for staying up as long as you have, my dear friend. It's very kind of you. Thank you. It's nice talking to you. Talk to you again, Kay. Anytime. Uh, oh gosh. Oh, I haven't gotten that Army of Darkness 4K yet. So I have the this is the earlier Blu-ray, right? The Scream Factory one. Yeah, this is right here. So that's the one that's on the shelf, but I don't have that new 4K yet. Let's see. Just scrolling down here. Yeah, Bride Guy cracked myself. Yes. Yes, myself. Yes, and I don't have enough money to get a new iPhones are so expensive. What like gosh, and they're like what um I don't know what they're like in the States, but here I thought like an iPhone, I thought like a smartphone that was over, it would be about, if we were saying dollars, like $1,000. Like when did they get into like $1,000 territory? I was just stunned when I heard that, and now they're into like, my friend was saying he got the new iPhone, and it cost him about, he paid it in yen, of course, but approximately if he's converted into dollars, it would be over $2,000. I'm like, are you kidding me? Wow, 2,000. That's a oh. All right, all right, all right. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Could you imagine? Could you imagine how many Blu-rays you can get for $2,000? Oh my goodness, my goodness. What could I get? What would I get if I had $2,000 of spending money to get some Blu-rays? What would I get? What would I get? Gosh, what would I try to get? I don't know. I'd probably want to get um oh gosh, what would I get? Um, that's a good question. That's a really good question. What would I try to get? And maybe not Blu-rays. I don't know. I need a new bicycle. Maybe get a bicycle. But anyway, because my bicycle is getting old and old and rusted. So, but let's think about it. But anyway, yes, yes. Chronological always is a phone case and glass or silicone screen protector. Yes, that's right. That's a good point. Very good point. Scrolling down. Oh, Bry Guy with I love this ton. That's a Ghostbuster reference. Oh, I think so. Yes, yes. Um, right. Um, what is it? Listen. Do you smell something? That's great. I love that. I didn't get that joke until years later. It was so funny. It was so cool. Oh gosh, Ghostbusters. And I mentioned there's that guy in the crowd just before the ghost, but it's the song, saving the day, saving the day, that part in the film. And then it's saving the day, and then you see the car. Hello, here it's at the heart of the Ghostbusters. Oh, all right, and there's that guy in the crowd says, "Ghostbusters, all right." That guy, that Ghostbuster. I love that guy. And yeah. Let's see. I love that film. I'd love to do a live stream discussion on Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Oh, it'd be so cool. Right. Any Ghostbusters 2 fans out there? Right. There's something strange in the neighborhood. Who are you going to call? He-Man. Yeah. That's so cool. Anyway, let's see. Let's see here. Hunter is here. Nice to see you. Yes, nice. I hope you have a great weekend yourself. Thank you. Yes. T1959 Mr. Film. Thank you so much. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I'm just scrolling down here, but I'm just trying to get everything here. Let's see. Oh, Ryan Chataway, our dear friend. It's nice to see you. Great. Ryan Chataway. I had the great honor of speaking with him on this channel, and then also just check out his podcast work. Great. Erica Satya Sasahara is here. Yes, Satya, it's nice to see you, Erica. I hope you're well. Nice to see you again. Yes, I hope you're well. Let's see. All right. Scrolling down. Right. Let's see. Scrolling down here. Oh, Jovial Josh again. Thank you. What with another super chat? My goodness, thank you. I'm sorry, this isn't much. No, what are you kidding me? This is so much. This is a lot. This is so much. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. No, yeah, don't apologize. No. This is so much. Wow. And thank you for your in-depth response to my comment and your positive energy. It really helps on a rough day. Oh, are you having, oh gosh. So Jovial Josh, if you're having a rough day, I hope things are well, or if not, as well as can be expected, or as well as can be, my dear friend. So, I know what it's like when there's a rough day. So, don't feel like you have to do things you don't want to do. But if things aren't 100%, I hope they're as close to 100% as can be. And you're gonna, I know, my videos aren't. I know they're not any consolation or anything. They're not going to solve all the problems in the world, right? But if ever you just want to stop by and chat, just stop by in the step comments or something. Or I'm also on Instagram, so if you want to just say hi or something, you can always leave me a message. All right. Oh, the ranch hand. So okay. So wow. So you have a bunch of wow. You have a okay. So the ranch hand. I'm gonna have to check out some of these. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well done. Oh, that's really cool. Scroll down. Let's see. Just scrolling down here. All right. Wow. Pedro says $2,000 Yes, you can literally buy a motorcycle. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money. So yeah, so wow. Um, all right, let's see. Scrolling down here. Sorry here. Oh, Ghostbusters. So I'm at the Ghostbusters video. Back off, man. I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, right. Um, there are a lot of lines in that I can't quote because there's some swear words in there, but there are a lot of great ones there. A lot of great ones. So, uh, yeah, unbelievable. I love that film so much. Uh, gosh, what's another one? Oh, gosh, it's too many again. Yeah, there's a lot of profanity in that film, so I don't know if I can say it out loud here, but there are a lot of great lines in that film. Yeah. Um, let's see. Uh, Again, I can't do a good gozer, but was it the traveler has come? Right. And although, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't say it because there's a whole thing at the end. There's a question that I have about the yeah. We'll have to do Ghostbusters as live stream one of these days, I think, because there's a question I have about the end there, about what happens at the final battle. There's a kind of thing that comes up. I would think, oh gosh, wouldn't it have gone this way instead because of something that was discussed, but it didn't went in the opposite direction. So, but anyway, yeah. So, in any event, so very fun stuff. Very fun stuff indeed. But um, you know, like. Uh, Yeah, I'll tell you a story about the film Ghostbusters 2, and then we can end here because I have to go soon. But Ghostbusters 2, okay. So if you know Ghostbusters 2, there's a character in that film called Janosch. And Janosch, and I remember when I was a kid, I saw Ghostbusters 2 in the theater with my mom or maybe some friends or something. And we had a good time watching Ghostbusters 2. And, you know, right. I love the song, it's up to, right. So I love it. It's great. So, so we talked, but after we left the film, we got home, you were talking about the film. Oh, it was so cool. Fun. And we had a little dog, a little terrier, cane terrier named Maggie. And maybe we were taking Maggie for a walk in the park or in the field somewhere, and there were squirrels. There were squirrels around. And we were talking about the film Ghostbusters 2 at a precise moment when we were just out and about walking a dog, and there were some squirrels in the distance that the dog could see, Maggie could see. And as Maggie was doing one thing and we were talking about another thing, these events collided in a way that as Maggie was watching these squirrels and was fascinated by these, my dog Maggie was watching these squirrels, fascinated by these squirrels. I guess my mom and I or whatever were talking about Janosch, the character Janosch. And then from that point onwards, whenever we said the name Janos in the presence of our dog Maggie, Maggie, the terrier, would suddenly light up and think, oh, squirrel or something, and just look out the window or just run around and see if there was a squirrel. And that's what we thought. So therefore, we understood that in the mind of our little cane terrier dog, Maggie, maybe the sound of the name Janos became associated with a squirrel. So therefore, whenever we would go to the park later and we'd see a squirrel and Maggie would be excited and just run around and frolic and everything. We'd say, we wouldn't say squirrel, we would say, oh, Janos. And that would be that would be something that would indicate to our dog. Like we wouldn't say squirrel because Maggie wouldn't react to the sound of the word squirrel. So that became a little thing within our household, so that's another example of where I call it the cinema journey, which is these little details that can really like without that, like I don't have any. I mean, I have photo albums, but I think films are like these photo albums for me. So I always think Oh, Ghostbusters 2. Oh yeah, the character of Janos. Oh yeah, that's like Maggie, my terrier, and then my mom. And they're not no longer with us now, unfortunately. But yeah, those are happy times. So yeah, Janos from Ghostbusters. Anyway, uh, let's see. Um, all right, so I think I am about to go because I have to go uh, drop off my daughter at the place she needs to go. So I have to leave in about a minute. So I'm going to go soon. But thank you very much for stopping by, my dear friends, for this impromptu surprise live stream. I'm very sorry that I don't announce these things. I really should have a more set schedule, but it's difficult for me. Oh, my son. Oh, hi, iyo, iyo. 入っていいよ。もう終わり。うん。もう終わるから。Okay, sorry about this. So that's my son saying that I should go. So, all right, my dear friends, have a great day. Keep on watching a lot of great movies, and thank you to all for your attention, kind attention, stopping by, the super chats. I'm sorry if I skipped over any of the comments that you made. My apologies, but I hope all is well, my dear friends, and we'll talk again very soon. Have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your day. And if things aren't, if you're having a rough patch at the moment, or if things aren't so well, I don't know what the situation is. I can't presume to know everything. But what I can say is, I truly hope that things are as well as can be. If that isn't 100%, then I hope it's as close to 100% as can be. And once you've taken care of that, I hope that you're able to watch. Really mean it. I hope you're able to watch a lot of great movies. That's what it's all about. All right. Thank you, and talk to you again very soon. So cheers. Have a good one, my friends. Thank you. Thank you. I'll end with my Toby Maguire Spider-Man. Cheers. All right.